Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie and we have a big video, a lot of things to get done today because I'm doing my June wrap up, July wrap up, and my August TBR. Given the fact that this video is already going to be 1 million years long, we simply do not have time for hardly any introductions. The only thing I will say on this introduction is that there are even going to be some more books that I have been reading that I'm in the middle of, that I'm doing for other vlogs, this, that. There's other books besides all the ones that I'm going to talk to you about right now that I'm not even going to include. So just know that when I'm talking about this, this is not even all of the books that I actually went through. This is just, I have a couple that I'm just setting aside, but they are still involved in this conversation, but I just can't get into why I'm not including them right now because that would honestly take too long. So I am going to start with my June wrap up, which obviously is very, very late. And that is just because with the way that other vlogs that were like time sensitive, the way that they lined up at the end of the month, I just like couldn't get the June one up, and I was just like, it's fine, I'll just do it all together in July. And yeah, that's essentially what happened. I think it's because like there was like the 4th of July and then Summerween was about to start, and like I don't know, something, there was just something I can't remember now, but couldn't get that video up, so we're doing it now. Okay, going all the way back, and now this is kind of crazy because the summer has been flying and I can't even like remember that I read all these things. It's been so long. But yes, we are starting off with the first book that I finished in June, and that was A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. I do have an entire video talking about this, so I won't go too far into depth, but I thought, yeah, this was good. I enjoyed the writing style a lot. I enjoyed the setting. It's very cozy. It is, at one point, I think it was pitched as a horror novel with like a kind of Frankenstein-esque leaning, and it's not horror, I'll say that. There are a couple good moments of horror type things, but it's not scary. And again, if you want to know all of my thoughts about this, I have it in a video, but for the purpose of this, I'd say, yeah, I enjoyed it. If you like the concept and you do like cozy Victorian style language writing, it's very dense writing style. If you like that, go ahead and give it a try. Next up, I have So Happy For You by Celia Lasky. This is a wedding themed book that I read for my wedding vlog because in August I'm getting married. This is the month. August is officially my wedding month, which is so insane. But yeah, I read this book for that vlog, and I had very mixed thoughts on this one. I thought this was a fun idea, but I just didn't feel like the execution actually leaned into how fun that concept was, and I felt like it was just not going where I thought that the pitch would take it. And I do think there's good things in here, but I just feel like it was just like some very weird choices were made. Again, if you want to hear more thoughts, watch that video. Moving on, the next one I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry. The only Emily Henry I've actually managed to complete and finish. I read that for this vlog up here, in which I just did, that was my first summer reading vlog where I tried to just read this book, and I did get through it. I did not like it. So this was like 2 stars for me. Emily Henry is not for me. I didn't really like anything about it. And again, if you want more of my thoughts, go watch that video. Then I read We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kilware. This is a brand new 2024 horror release, and dang, this is so good. Again, I have an entire review on it, but this is about a family who, a couple who move into this new house when a family comes to their door saying, hey, we used to live in this house, and do you mind if we just like take a look around, take a walk down memory lane, you know? And once the family gets inside the house, their little girl goes missing somewhere in the house. And it kicks off this kind of chain of very terrifying, crazy events. This was very fast paced. It was scary. It was fun. It was pretty much everything that I wanted it to be. When I pick up a horror book, this is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking to be entertained. I'm looking for it to move fast and to have a good time. I think if you like start putting your mind, if you start thinking a lot about it, maybe this falls apart a little bit, but I didn't care. I just had such a good time in the moment, and that's really all I'm asking for. Next up, we have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This is I was shocked to find the #1 best book of the 21st century according to the New York Times bestseller, or no, the New York Times 100 best books of the 21st century list that I also did a video on here. My goodness, there's going to be a lot of links in this video, but this book really did nothing for me, honestly. I feel kind of bad about it because I know a lot of people like it, and I understand why. Like, I do get, like, there's some great themes in here. It's about class, money, this like female friendship, the societal pressures of women. There's a lot in here. I give it that, but I just found it boring. Like, it kind of reminded me of Anne of Green Gables, but set in this like small Italian town, and you know, that was cute, but I just like, it's just not the kind of book that I enjoy. It's very slow paced. It's a very slice of life, like, again, like Anne of Green Gables. But this one does feel more mature, kind of without that cozy tint on it that Anne of Green Gables has, which I like Anne of Green Gables, but I didn't even love it. So this grown-up version is like, yeah, it just wasn't gonna be for me. I thought it was fine, but like the best book of the 21st century? I don't think so. And then I read, also for that wedding vlog, Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. This is his new 2024 release, and this is the first Kevin Kwan that I've ever read. I have seen the movie Crazy Rich Asians and love it so much, so I was excited to dig into Kevin Kwan, and yeah, this did not let me down. This is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. It is a very over-the-top, indulgent look at the uber wealthy, like wealthier than you can even imagine wealthy. It follows their life and times and several weddings within this family, within this ultra super wealthy socialite group. And it's, yeah, there's a little bit of a romance, I guess. It's not as central as I actually thought it would be, but I enjoyed my time with this. I honestly, like, I liked it. I gave it like a 3.75. It's not really gonna stick with me, but it does exactly what I wanted it to do, so good job. And then my friend Caitlin Bandy from Bandy's Books, we read My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otesha Mosfeg. We read this together for our book club, which is called the Backlist Book Club. So if you are interested in reading some backlist titles, just ones that we've been interested in but never actually committed to reading, we are creating a book club that's entirely based on reading those backlist titles. So if that sounds interesting to you, please join us. Our next book is going to be one that I talk about in a minute, so stick around for that. But Otesha Mosfeg, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, we both had a good time with this. This is definitely a little out there. It's a little, I know it has very like polarizing like thoughts on it. I think, like, I know that not everyone is loving this, but also, you know, I found it to be very interesting. I had a good time while I was reading it. It definitely does go into some crazy territory though, so this is not going to be a likable character at all, and there's just, it really kind of tests your patience and your ability to have empathy, so which I do think is very much the point. First Otesha Mosfeg that I read, and this was honestly, I was very impressed with it. So 4 stars for me, and I'm interested to see what else she does. Okay, those are actually, that was the list of the books that I read in June. So yeah, there we go. That's a solid list. And I did talk all about these books in other videos, so it feels like I'm not that far behind, because actually you have heard me talk about a lot of these before. But moving into July, the first one is a book that I have talked about. I read this in my Summerween vlog. Actually, let me just, all the books that I read in the Summerween vlog, I will kind of mention at the same time because I've already talked about them at length. So those are these 4, and I probably had another one too, actually. Yeah, okay. So these 4. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno, I gave this a, I don't know, like a 3. This book was so weird. I had no idea that it was going to be this weird, and it is not the book that I thought it was going to be about. It is like a piece of grief horror, but it's weird. It's really weird, and I don't think it really was for me. It was ambitious, and I appreciate that, but I don't know that this is really for me. So there we go. When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen. This is a gothic horror about a woman who goes to her best friend's wedding, and the wedding is taking place on a plantation that used to house slaves, and it's dark, it's atmospheric. Again, I really wanted to love this, and I don't know, I gave it like a 3.5. I'm like, yeah, I like a lot of things about this. I didn't love it though, which did make me sad. Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. This is my first Charlotte McConaughey, and yeah, I don't know. This is like a literary mystery, but the mystery is not even that important. I really wanted to love this. I love the nature descriptions, and it's even really short. So like this should have been a complete knockout for me, but I just kind of felt meh about it. I gave it, 3 stars. It was fine. I will probably pick up her other one, and if that one doesn't go better, I think I might just be done with this author, but I thought for what it was fine. I just thought it was a little bit bland. And then the last book that I read for Summerween, that is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is a shiny, brand new, this was a June release, and it's, I think a lot of people are reading this right now. I think I'm definitely going to see this in the Goodreads Choice Awards this year, so I'm happy that I did read this. Unfortunately, I found this to be just like nothing special, really. It's a literary mystery, but it's not even that literary, honestly. It's just, I don't know, it's contemporary, except that it takes place in the 70s, so it's not, or 90s, I don't know. Recent past, I guess. But I don't know, it's just, this is about a missing child, missing children actually, at a summer camp, which sounds really, really fun, but it is slow. It is really slow, and in my opinion, there are just way too many perspectives, and I'm not even a kind of person that gets all that confused. Like, it's not even that I couldn't follow it, it's just, there were just times when I was just like, this does not add to the story for me. And I guess this is kind of just a me thing, because I already don't love multiple perspectives. Like, honestly, I feel like if we can spend more time with one character, give us other ways to show us the whole story. Like, I don't need to be jumping around in perspective to get more of the story. Like, some of my favorite books are all just from one singular perspective. So maybe I just already was not like predestined to enjoy this, but I just didn't feel that it was necessary to have as many perspectives as there were in here. And in fact, it just took things away, because I'm like, I don't know, I felt like we could have found a more interesting way to tell this story. It's also really long, just longer than I felt, again, it really needed to be. I'm sure I know people have loved this, but to me, it's just like, I don't know, it's nothing special. I've read a lot of better books with way better writing. The writing in here is just, it's mediocre. It's just not good enough to justify the length of this novel. So for that, it's like, I love the camp setting though. So I had to, find time in that aspect, but it's just like, I don't know, we should have edited this down a little bit. For me, it was a 3.25. Getting through it. Okay. Oh, another one that did kind of wormed its way into my Summerween, that was The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. This is a young adult novel, actually. Now, the reason I picked this one up is because I was enjoying the camp setting of God of the Woods, but I was getting very frustrated with how we kept getting pulled away from that setting, and I was like, no, I just want a fast-moving summer camp horror thriller. So I picked up The Honeys, and honestly, I'm glad I did, because I really enjoyed this. It's YA, and it definitely does get weird, especially at the end, and it kind of has this like midsummer type vibe to it, because it takes place in the middle of the summer and everything is glittery and rainbows, but like with this like dark undertone, which I really enjoyed. The camp setting was phenomenal. I felt like Ryan LaSala really used the camp to the absolute maximum, which I appreciated, because that's what I wanted. And overall, I really enjoyed this book. It has a non-binary main character, which you just don't see that often. I loved the character being in that character's head, like that character's perspective was really great. I thought it was just a really well done YA book. I had a good time, so happy to have picked that up. And then I read Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This is my first of Sayaka Murata, I apologize. I know they have a couple books that are kind of in the booktube book consciousness. I was looking forward to Convenience Store Woman because I was interested in a story about this kind of like older woman who lives a very, I guess, unconventional life. And it really is about how especially women and older women are just like once women reach a certain age, if they're not married and with children, then they kind of are basically just discarded by society. So I thought that was a really interesting take. However, I didn't end up really loving this book. I thought it was just fine. I don't know. I just did not really connect with this writing style very much, and I wanted it to go even deeper. I just think that, again, the choices that were made, I don't know if it really completely came together for me, but it did have some interesting things to say, I guess. It was just fine. It was fine for me. I gave it like a 3. Yeah. Okay, we are doing well. I know I'm going so fast. It's just because otherwise I would be here all day if I gave all of my thoughts on every single one of these books. But continuing on, for a book club that I have here in person with my friends, we read Women We Buried, Women We Burned, a memoir by Rachel Louise Snyder. She's a journalist and she has lots of books. This is her only memoir though, but she is a journalist and writes a lot of nonfiction. And this was kind of pitched to us as her journeys as a journalist abroad, going to countries of war and kind of just non-peace times in these countries and how it affected the women that are there and what they were going through. And then connecting that a little bit to her upbringing in a highly religious, strict environment. So it was going to, this big feminist rally cry type memoir, and it is that to some degree, but honestly, like, this didn't really do a lot for me. Again, I mean, I've talked at length at this point about how I'm pretty particular when it comes to memoirs. I need them to be just really strong or special or have some sort of structural thing that interests me. This is a very straightforward memoir, which is just not going to be my favorite thing. I do enjoy some of the things she was talking about. I also really enjoyed her writing style. She's a strong writer for sure. I was very, very happy with the prose and just the technical ability of this writing. However, I really wanted this to go like more into the countries and the other women that she like interviewed and things, but it just wasn't about that. It was mostly just focused on her and a very insular story, which I just thought was very odd considering how this book was pitched, and even its title and everything, just none of that really made sense. So for that really frustrated me. So I don't know, I probably give this like a 2.75. I didn't find a lot of value in it personally, but I know other people have enjoyed this, so I don't know. If it sounds like your cup of tea, give it a try. It really wasn't mine though. Okay, we are coming down to the wire, the very end of this here. Okay, we have The Rachel Incident by Carolyn O'Donoghue. This, oh my gosh, I haven't even actually talked about this anywhere. I just didn't get the opportunity really, but this book is fantastic. I loved this book. This is a kind of second coming of age novel. It follows a woman who is right at the tail end of her college career, and she is looking to figure out how does she make a life for herself. It takes place in Cork, Ireland, and it really it does kind of remind me of Sally Rooney, and I love Sally Rooney, but this writing is very witty. It follows a very messy relationship drama, which is not something that I would normally say interests me, but the way that it is done in here is so phenomenal. I love the characters. I loved how witty the writing was. I love how poignant the whole thing felt. It was timely. It really had something to say. I just loved that about it. And I also listened to a lot of this on audiobook, and the narration with their beautiful Irish accent just like really pulled, it just made it feel so real to me. I really enjoyed the audiobook experience. This was just phenomenal. I think this will probably make my top 5 books of the year. And then we have Trust by Hernan Diaz. Oh my gosh, this is a book that I have been dying to get to for a long time because it is a Pulitzer Prize winner, and I heard that it plays with structure, which is something that I really love, and I was happy to find that when I picked it up, yeah, I really enjoyed this. I didn't think it was as good as The Rachel Incident. Honestly, I would give this like, I don't know, I'm so stingy about giving out my 5 stars because to me, I'm like a 5 stars, like, ooh, that is a new favorite, phenomenal, outstanding. So I don't know if this quite reaches 5 stars, but it's like 4.75. Like, it's really good. Maybe, you know, Goodreads 5 stars, I'll give it. But so Trust, I would say, is a 4 stars. I really, really liked it. It is a very pretentious writing style, so it's not going to be for everybody, especially in the first part of this, which is broken up into 4 sections. And section 1 is very, very dense with language about like the stock market and finances and stuff, but I think it's like very intentionally confusing. But I you know, understand that that is going to be a big hurdle for some readers to get through. It's not necessarily fun. But for me, it is the very like kind of like very pretentious highbrow writing style that I just always love. So I did enjoy this. I will say though, the ending was a little bit, I don't know if it was like disappointing, but it's like, to me it felt predictable. I was like, I could tell from basically the first chapter, I knew where this book was going, and then it got there and I just didn't really feel like it did anything else. So I thought the message was poignant and like important, yes, but it was also predictable. And I was like, okay, I kind of wish that we had, you know, done something else just to kind of justify all the time I spent with it, because this is a literary fiction book and most literary fiction readers are going to be able to see this coming from like a mile away. So I just like, for who the audience of this book, that like he was fully aware when he wrote this book exactly who his audience was. So I'm just like, you know, that literary fiction readers are going to be very familiar with this setup. They're going to know exactly what you're doing. So it's like, why not then take the opportunity to do something else? Just an idea. Again, that's not to say that it was bad though, because I did really enjoy this. Gave it 4 stars, and I'm so happy that I actually did get around to reading this. Okay, I did have 2 DNFs, and I am thinking I'm going to talk about them, even though I'm like, what if I decide to pick them up again? I don't know. The first one kind of pains me to say it a little bit, but that is The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. I don't know. I tried this. I tried it on audio. I read about 100 pages into it, and I just did not care. I was just not interested. And I really debated. I was like, am I actually going to give this up, or should I just power through and get through it? But I don't know. August right now, what I'm kind of feeling is like, I want to read winners. You know, I've read a lot of books that I was kind of lukewarm about, and reading something like The Rachel Incident, where I had such a great time, I was like, this is what I want to be reading all the time. I don't want to be continuing with books that I have not been enjoying, and I don't know, something about this is just not doing it for me. So I should just be able to say, thanks, tried it, I'm moving on. In a very similar vein, I have The Vaster Wilds by Lauren Groff, and to be honest, I really just want to love this book because of this cover, which I just think is really, really, really stunning, and it honestly makes me so sad. But I have not had a good time with Lauren Groff in the past, and I was going to give her one more chance, but I don't know. And now I have such a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to Lauren Groff that I struggle to get over that. I got about 30% of the way into this, and it certainly wasn't bad, but I just didn't care. I just did not care, and I wanted to like this. But in my heart, I just know this is not going to be a 5-star book, so I shouldn't continue on with it, and I shouldn't keep it just because I love the cover. It's not going to be a 4-star book. It's not going to be a 5-star book. I should just move on, and I think that's what I'm going to do, even though it's so beautiful, and I am really sad about that. Okay, moving on. I have 2 books that are on my August TBR that I'm pretty much guaranteed to read because I'm doing them for a vlog, but I don't know if I should tell you about them right now, or should I keep it a secret? I'll keep it a secret, but just know that I have 2 books in addition to this August TBR, and I'm like 70% through one of them, so this is absolutely gonna happen. But just know there's 2 books we're not even gonna talk about. That's how many books we're dealing with in this video. Okay, I have a huge stack of August hopefuls right here. Some of them I have talked to you about before, so I won't go too crazy into them. Here we go. A couple that I have left over from my July TBR. I had Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman, which I did want to read for Summerween, but just didn't get to it. And kind of regret that because honestly, this would have been such a good Summerween book. And I felt like the books that I read for Summerween did not all hit what I wanted them to hit. So I kind of regret that I didn't do this one instead. Nonetheless, I'm still sort of interested in it. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get to this in August, but I just, wanted to mention that this was left over from July. I don't know. We'll see about that. Similarly, I have Toward Eternity by Anton Her. This one is so short. Like, I really do want to get to this, and I'm thinking I might even get to this in August. We'll see. Because I'm going on a couple trips. Well, not a couple, but I'm going on a long one that is a bunch of planes, and I love to take short paperbacks for my plane trips because I tend to finish them, and it feels so amazing to finish a book like there on the plane. It feels so great. So I'm considering bringing this one with me, and I do really want to read it because it was a July release, so I really want to read this. Okay, 2 more books, again, left over from July TBR. Those are Annibot by Sierra Greer and Greta and Valdin by Rebecca K. Riley. Both of these are really highly anticipated books for me. I started reading Greta and Valdin, but I had to put it down because of other priorities. So both of these books, though, are like anticipated 5-star, really most anticipated books of 2024. So I need to get to these. And Annibot is really, really short. So I'm super, super, super hoping I can make this happen. Okay, getting into our more formal, official August TBR stack. First one that I'm trying to prioritize, really, really, really making an effort because I went out of my way to buy this specifically to read in August. That is Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. This is a horror-ish book, kind of again in the midsummer vein, as you can see from the cover. Something that I'm just very, very into at the moment is this kind of midsummer, summertime horror, I guess. But it is so long. So it's like, if I'm going to read this, I need to get on this. I hope it reads like kind of fast. But this is something that I have been saving to read in August. So this is high on the list. A book that is so completely, this was such an impulse buy. Like, why did I even do this? That is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a complete cover buy. It is about a little witch who moves, it's a fantasy world actually, but she's a witch that moves back home to her small town, and cozy witchiness ensues. I did totally buy this for the cover and then immediately started reading it. So I think I'm like 60 pages into it. I'm exactly 60 pages. I'm focusing on this one, so because I paid full price hardcover for it. I mean, I paid a lot of those, but this one I was just like, I'm just gonna grab it and read it, and honestly I've been having a pretty good time with it. The writing is not as bad as I was expecting it to be, so that's always a plus. I don't read cozy fantasy though, so this is really well outside of my comfort zone. But I just have been in such a cozy, witchy mood that I decided to pick it up, and yeah, I've been enjoying what I've read of this so far. Then I have Body Friend by Catherine Barbin. This is an ARC that I got, and it's a literary book about, it says, a potent novel about chronic illness and the circular nature of recovery. And I don't know that much about it other than I've heard a lot of people have been enjoying this recently. It's kind of flying under the radar, but in my circles, I feel like people have enjoyed it. And my plan though is to read this one and maybe Toward Eternity in one of the the last summer reading vlogs that I'm doing. I hope to get 3 more summer reading vlogs in, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that happen because of my wedding. I'm going to do my best, but this one, again, not very long. It's a paperback, so I'm like, ooh, this would be a really great plain option as well. I'm hoping I can make this happen. Plus, I just love this like pool cover. It's like so summery, and I love that. This is the one. This is the important one. Caitlin Bandy and I, from Backlist Book Club, our pick for August and September, because it is a long one, that is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. If you watched my video going through the New York Times 100 Best Books of the 21st Century, I talked at length about how I am like dying to read this, but how scared I am because this is so thick. Oh my gosh. Luckily, I was able to get the audiobook as well to help me out, but like, wow, this is so thick, but it's also supposed to be one of the best books ever written. And I think it's kind of right up my alley. I think I'm going to adore it. So I have high hopes. And I'm so excited to be reading this for Backlist Book Club. And then I have The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. Everybody read this for Summerween. It's been doing really well, and I definitely think that we will see this in the Goodreads Choice Awards come the end of the year. This is a horror book that I've been, I've been kind of eyeing it. I've been getting more and more interested in picking it up. I would like to do it before summer's end, but oh boy, looking at this stack, I have no idea if that's going to be possible, but this is definitely out there in the possibilities. And finally, my last book that honestly, I don't know if I should even put this in August. Maybe I should just save this for September. That's Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. Mostly I've been eyeing this because I guess I've just been in a cozy fantasy mood. Emily Wilde is the only other cozy fantasy book that I have read, and this sequel has been sitting on my shelf since I bought it on release day. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna save it for the end of summer. But honestly, just looking at this stack right here, I just might even have to put this into September. I also got 3 books from the library that I've been eyeing. I have Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, short story collection, horror, Whale Fall by Elizabeth O'Connor. This is a literary fiction book that a lot of people have been loving this year, and this is Sleepwalkers, which has a great summer vibe, and Ashley from Ashes of the Library really liked this. To be honest, I got Whale Fall because I thought it was going to be making some prize list this year, and it was not long listed for the Booker Prize. So I'm like, well, now that it's not, should I still read it? I'm still interested. I also adore this cover. Really, really cute. Cursed Bunny, I'm definitely interested in reading, and Sleepwalkers, if I can get to it, maybe I'll try it, we'll see. Oh my gosh, that's the amount of books. This is absolutely insane. Okay, these are my August hopefuls. We'll see how much I actually get through. And then, okay, well, I'm happy to say that because I read Trust in July, I am able to pick out another prompt from my TBR teacup because I said I couldn't pull another prompt until I finished a prompt. And the prompt that I had in June, or it might have even been May, I don't know. I think it was June though, was to read a book with a 1-word title, and the only one I had was Trust. So I've been like, I couldn't pull anything else until I finished this. So happy to say I did finish this. And now it is time for me to pull another prompt, which is very exciting because it's been a couple months since I've done this. Let's see here. Oh gosh. Well, I can already see what this is. A book with a red cover. Oh my gosh, I was just about to say, I don't think I have anything, but obviously I do have something for this, and could not have been more perfect timing because obviously the book with the red cover that I'm going to be reading is Wolf Hall. So how perfect. That, in fact, could not get any more perfect. I'm probably going to start this book, but likely will not finish it in August, but that is a very, very serendipitous TBR teacup pull, so nice. Okay, thank you so much for watching. These are all the books that I've read. Well, this is obviously not because I can't even hold them all, but all the books that I've read in June and July, plus some books I'm hoping to get to in the next coming months. Thank you so much for watching this very long and very chaotic video. I'm happy to kind of be back on track with my filming and upload schedule, so that is great. Let me know down in the comments below, have you read any of the books that I've mentioned, whether I have read them or not? Let me know what you thought. I would love to have a little chat in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you back here really soon. Bye!